Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive with us.
Always a pleasure.
Today we're looking at something pretty fascinating, I think.
Yeah.
The All-Day Rosary.
Interesting.
And when you hear All-Day Rosary, I think most people, particularly devout Catholics who are listening to this show, think,
right.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
A lot of prayer.
That's going to take forever.
Right.
But we've got some really cool material here that actually suggests it's not really like that at all.
Not at all.
So we've got a guide to the All-Day Rosary.
Okay.
We've got some stuff on Father Patrick Peyton, who was a huge proponent of family prayer and the Rosary in particular. So
Beautiful.
We're going to kind of look at all of this and see how it all fits together. And I'm really interested to see what your take is on this All-Day Rosary.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it sounds very intimidating, but
it does.
You know, once we sort of unpack it, it's really not.
So the guide is called All-Day.txt.
Okay.
And what does it say about the All-Day Rosary?
Well, it begins by saying that it's not so much about carving out this huge block of time, you know, to pray.
Right.
But more about integrating prayer into your everyday life.
I see. So it's more like,
exactly.
Okay, I've got these 15 minutes right now. I'm gonna,
no. It's more like a seamless kind of incorporation.
I see.
Into your daily routine.
Okay.
So that the prayers become almost like breathing.
Okay. Interesting.
You know, just a natural part of your day.
So how does that work mechanically speaking?
Well, mechanically speaking, you would begin with the Our Father.
Okay.
Just like in the traditional rosary to set your intention.
Right.
And then instead of the usual 10 Hail Marys per mystery, you would pray 50 Hail Marys while meditating on that mystery.
Okay. Now that's where I think people start to go.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but wait a minute.
Great.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, what you're saying is you pray those 50 Hail Marys throughout the day.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's not like sitting down and powering through
praying 50 Hail Marys.
50 Hail Marys.
Right.
No, it's more about finding those little pockets of time throughout your day where you can just say a few.
Okay.
So maybe while you're commuting.
Right.
Maybe while you're doing chores, folding laundry.
During your lunch break.
Yes, things like that.
Okay.
Just little moments.
So instead of kind of racing through 10 Hail Marys,
exactly,
you're really giving each mystery the time and the space it deserves.
You're letting it permeate your thoughts.
Okay.
Your actions throughout the day.
That makes sense.
So those mysteries become a real source of strength and guidance in your everyday life.
I can see how doing it that way would really help someone connect with each mystery.
Yes.
On a much deeper level.
I agree.
So you're not just like, oh yeah, I said my Hail Marys.
Right.
You know, it's more like...
It's in your heart.
Right.
It's in your mind.
And there's a real sense of accomplishment that comes with that too.
There is.
So if you complete all 20 mysteries using this method...
Yes.
That's 1,000 Hail Marys.
1,000 Hail Marys.
Which is amazing.
Incredible.
But even if someone can't manage all 20, you know, maybe they just do one rosary a day using this method.
Yes.
50 Hail Marys per mystery instead of 10. That's still 250 Hail Marys.
250, which is the equivalent of 5 traditional rosaries.
Wow.
So you're really amping up your prayer life.
Yeah, so it's like...
in a very manageable way.
Right. It's almost like it's more demanding, but then less demanding.
But because it's spread out,
it
becomes more doable.
I like that.
It makes it accessible to even the busiest individuals.
And speaking of making the rosary accessible, that reminds me of Father Patrick Peyton.
Oh, yes.
Who dedicated his life to promoting the rosary.
Yes.
And its power to unite families.
He was known as the Rosary Priest.
Right.
A true champion of this prayer.
And he really believed.
He did.
In the transformative power of the rosary.
He saw it as a cornerstone of family unity.
Right.
And a source of peace in a troubled world.
Yeah. I mean, everyone knows his famous phrases.
Yes.
You know, the family that prays together stays together.
That's right.
And a world at prayer is a world at peace.
Powerful words.
Those sayings really capture the essence of his message.
They do. They really highlight the power of prayer.
Right.
Especially shared prayer, like the rosary, to bind people together.
Right.
To foster understanding, to bring peace into hearts and homes.
And he wasn't just talking about it.
Right.
He was out there.
He was a man of action.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Quoting the rosary in ways that were pretty groundbreaking.
Oh, yes. For his time.
For his time.
He embraced media, like radio, television, even film.
Wow.
To spread his message.
So he was reaching huge audiences.
Yes, vast audiences across the globe.
Yeah.
And he organized these massive rallies.
I've seen pictures.
Millions of people.
It's amazing.
Coming together
yeah.
to pray the rosary as families.
It's just incredible when you think about the scale of his effort.
It speaks to his deep conviction.
Right. He really believed
He did.
that the rosary could change the world.
Yes. He saw it not just as a set of prayers, but as a powerful tool for strengthening families, promoting peace, and fostering a deeper connection with God.
His life and legacy are a pretty amazing example.
They are an inspiration.
Of how dedication to the rosary can really make a difference.
Absolutely.
But how does all of this connect to the All-Day Rosary?
Well, if you think about it, Father Peyton's emphasis on integrating prayer into daily life aligns perfectly with the spirit of the All-Day Rosary.
I see that.
Both approaches encourage us to make prayer a constant companion, not just a scheduled event.
Not just something we check off our list.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's a beautiful connection.
Yeah, like Father Peyton's vision kind of laid the groundwork.
In a way.
For a practice like the All-Day Rosary.
It's a beautiful way to see it.
To flourish.
And it begs the question.
Okay.
Could integrating the rosary into our everyday lives, as the All-Day Rosary encourages, lead to a deeper connection with God and a more peaceful world, as Father Peyton envisioned?
That's a thought-provoking question.
It is, isn't it?
It really gets to the heart of what we're exploring today.
It does.
The All-Day Rosary.
A simple yet profound practice with the potential to transform our lives.
And the world around us.
Exactly.
It really is fascinating to think about how the All-Day Rosary encourages this kind of ongoing spiritual awareness.
Right. It's like you're carrying that prayerfulness with you throughout the day.
So it's not just about...
It's not compartmentalized.
Right.
You know, you're not just setting aside a specific time for prayer.
Right. It's about having that spirit of prayer with you wherever you go.
It makes me think about the traditional rosary, you know, where you have those moments of quiet contemplation as you meditate on each mystery. But with the All-Day Rosary, those reflections become like woven into the fabric of your day.
Exactly. And as you go about your daily tasks, those reflections can actually guide your actions.
Right.
They can influence your interactions with others. They can help you respond to challenges with greater peace and understanding.
So it's almost like those 50 Hail Marys per mystery become like these little seeds of grace.
Beautiful analogy planted throughout your day.
That are slowly blossoming into a deeper awareness of God's presence.
I love that.
And then you think about the cumulative effect.
The ripple effect of those seeds over time.
It's no wonder that Father Peyton, who so passionately believed in the power of the rosary, he envisioned a world transformed through prayer.
You know, it's interesting to think about how the rosary itself has evolved over time.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, we've been talking about the All-Day Rosary, which is a relatively recent adaptation.
Yes, a modern twist on an ancient devotion.
Right. But the tradition of praying like a high number of Hail Marys dates back centuries.
Centuries.
And it really speaks to the power of this prayer.
It does.
You know, and the devotion that people have had to it.
There's a richness there.
Yeah.
A depth of history.
Like I've heard of praying 1,000 Hail Marys.
Yes.
That's a thing, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And that's connected to a saint who had a vision of the Virgin Mary.
Yes, that's the story of St. Catherine of Bologna.
Okay, yeah, tell me about that.
Well, she was a poor Clare nun, known for her holiness and her mystical experiences.
Okay.
And she would pray 1,000 Hail Marys.
Every Christmas Eve?
Every Christmas Eve.
Wow.
And it's said that during one of these prayer marathons, she was granted a vision of the Virgin Mary holding the baby Jesus.
To be blessed with a vision like that.
Imagine.
After a night of such dedicated prayer.
The power of prayer.
Yeah, that's really powerful.
It speaks to the profound connection that can be fostered through sincere and persistent prayer.
1,000 Hail Marys in a single night, though.
It's a feat.
That's a lot.
It is a testament to her unwavering devotion.
So I guess over time, that practice evolved.
It did.
Into something a little bit more manageable.
Yes, more accessible.
So instead of doing it all in one night,
it
spread out over 25 days.
That's right.
Starting on St. Andrew's Eve and ending before Christmas Eve.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it becomes like a way to prepare for Christmas.
Yes, a spiritual preparation.
Right, not just like, okay, let me buy presents and get the tree.
It's about preparing your heart
Right.
for the celebration of Christ's birth.
So how does that work?
Well, the structure involves praying 40 Hail Marys each day,
Okay.
divided into 4 groups of 10,
Okay.
and each group is accompanied by specific meditations.
So it's still a significant commitment,
It is.
but it's broken down into smaller, more digestible portions.
Right, and like the All-Day Rosary,
Yeah.
it emphasizes integrating prayer into daily life.
Right.
It's not about isolating prayer.
Mm-hmm.
It's about letting it permeate your days.
So this 25-day devotion leading up to Christmas
Mm-hmm.
really exemplifies how the rosary can be
Yeah.
this journey.
Yes, a journey of deepening our relationship
Right.
with Mary and Jesus.
Not just about reciting prayers.
No, it's about transformation.
It's about really connecting
Connection with the divine.
and preparing our hearts for the miracle of Christmas.
Yeah, that's beautifully said.
Thank you.
So we've talked about the All-Day Rosary.
Yes.
We've talked about Father Peyton's inspiring life and mission.
Indeed.
We've even touched on this tradition of praying 1,000 Hail Marys.
Quite a journey.
But there's another aspect of this topic that we haven't discussed yet,
All right. I'm intrigued.
and it adds a layer of complexity.
To Father Peyton's legacy.
Oh, okay.
And it raises some important questions
Interesting.
about the intersection of faith and politics.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this.
You're talking about his involvement with the CIA.
Yes, a controversial chapter in his life
Right.
that deserves careful consideration.
Yeah, it might seem unexpected.
It does on the surface.
Yeah, but it's an important part of understanding his story
Absolutely.
and the historical context
Right.
in which he lived and worked.
It's crucial to consider the times.
So let's take a moment to gather our thoughts.
Yes, let's do that.
And then we'll delve into this complex aspect of his legacy. All right, so we're back, and as promised, we're going to talk about Father Peyton's involvement with the CIA.
Yes, a rather unexpected aspect of his life.
It might seem surprising at first,
It does.
but when you think about the historical context, it makes a little more sense.
You're right. This was during the Cold War,
Uh-huh.
a time of intense ideological conflict.
Right, the U.S. versus the Soviet Union.
Exactly. And both sides were trying to gain influence all over the world.
Right.
And Latin America, with its growing leftist movements, became kind of a key battleground.
Yeah, and as we know, the CIA was very active in Latin America during that period.
They were engaged in all sorts of operations.
Right, trying to counter the spread of communism.
Absolutely.
So how did Father Peyton, a priest devoted to the rosary and family prayer, get mixed up in all of this?
Well, it seems that some of his massive rosary crusades in Latin America received funding and logistical support from the CIA.
So the CIA saw him as a valuable asset
In a way, yes.
because he could mobilize these huge crowds.
Exactly. His rallies drew millions of people.
And his message of faith and family values really resonated with people.
Especially in the face of what was perceived as this godless communist ideology.
So the CIA saw his work as a way to combat communism.
Yes, by promoting traditional values and faith as an alternative.
It's a bit of a thorny issue, isn't it?
It is a complex situation.
On one hand, you have Father Peyton with his genuine devotion to the rosary.
His sincere desire to promote peace and family unity.
Right. But on the other hand, he's associated with an organization
Known for its covert operations.
that's not exactly known for being open and transparent.
It highlights the complicated relationship between faith and politics.
Yeah, especially during such a politically charged era.
But it's important to note that there's no evidence to suggest that the CIA controlled Father Peyton's message or interfered with his mission.
So he wasn't a puppet for the CIA.
No. His commitment to the rosary and family prayer remained genuine.
It's just that the CIA saw his work as aligning with their own interests.
And decided to support it.
It's a good reminder that even people we admire aren't perfect,
They're complex human beings.
and they operate within particular historical contexts.
We can appreciate Father Peyton's devotion
Yes.
and the impact he had on so many lives,
Billions of people.
while also acknowledging the complexities of his CIA ties.
Right? It's not about condoning or condemning.
It's about understanding
It's about looking at the full picture.
and engaging in critical thinking.
And maybe that's a good lesson for us today
I think so.
as we navigate our own complex world.
With all its challenges and competing narratives.
Right. And we need to be discerning.
Absolutely.
We need to think critically.
And be willing to grapple with nuance.
Yeah, because the world isn't black and white.
It's full of shades of gray.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the All-Day Rosary,
Yes.
it's clear that this practice offers a really powerful way to bring faith into our everyday lives.
It's about making prayer a constant companion.
Right, not just something we do on Sundays or in times of crisis.
It's about integrating prayer into the fabric of our lives.
And I think Father Peyton would agree with that.
I think he would.
He saw the power of prayer to transform
To
hearts
strengthen families.
and to bring peace to the world.
A world at prayer is a world at peace.
And maybe that's the message we need to hear today.
Perhaps it is.
So until next time, keep diving deeper.